Starting a business sounds exciting, right? You imagine the freedom, the creativity, the endless possibilities. But here's the truth. The hardest part of building a business isn't the start. It's everything that happens after the excitement fades. It's dealing with the inevitable struggles, the tough decisions, and the moments when things aren't going as planned. Have you ever found yourself questioning if you made the right decision? If you're in the middle of a difficult situation where every option feels like it leads to failure, you're not alone. This is exactly what Ben Horowitz dives into in The Hard Thing About Hard Things. In this book, he doesn't sugarcoat the reality of entrepreneurship. Instead, he provides a raw, honest look at the challenges business leaders face when there are no easy answers. This isn't a book about theory or idealistic advice. It's a survival guide for those who are in the trenches, dealing with the tough stuff that doesn't come with easy solutions. So if you're feeling like you're stuck or struggling in your business, this video is for you. Let's explore how to handle the hard things and how doing so can make all the difference. Building a business isn't easy. You've probably heard that, but hearing it and truly understanding it are two different things. The struggles you face when you start out aren't just about the logistics or the financial risks. They're about the emotional and mental battles you have to fight every day. You've put in the work, you've made sacrifices, and things are still not going the way you expected. You might be facing decisions where there is no clear right answer, where every choice comes with its own set of risks, and you're left questioning what to do next. Maybe you're experiencing setbacks, like a product launch failing, customers walking away, or even key team members leaving. Those early days of excitement quickly turn into stress, burnout, and doubt. And what do you do when you've reached a point where the business is at a crossroads? Do you double down and keep pushing through? Or do you cut your losses and walk away? How do you decide? And how do you lead your team when you're unsure yourself? For anyone who's ever asked themselves these questions, Ben Horowitz's The Hard Thing About Hard Things is a powerful reminder that these struggles aren't just normal, they're part of the journey. The book explores the real challenges of running a business, where there are no easy answers, only tough decisions. You can't prepare for everything, and there will be times when all you can do is figure it out as you go. This is where most entrepreneurs get stuck. But here's the kicker. Getting stuck isn't failure. It's part of the process. The difference between those who make it and those who don't comes down to how you respond to these moments. And if you've ever faced any of these challenges, you know it takes grit, resilience, and a lot of tough decisions to make it through. Section 2. Key principle number 1. Introduction to the author's framework. Introduce the author and the core principle. Ben Horowitz is a name that's come to define Silicon Valley. He co-founded Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most influential venture capital firms, and has been at the forefront of the tech industry for decades. But Horowitz's path wasn't always easy. In fact, it was filled with failure, hard lessons, and decisions that seemed impossible at the time. His story is one of persistence and learning from the hardest of situations. In The Hard Thing About Hard Things, Horowitz doesn't just talk about how to get rich or how to grow a business. Instead, he focuses on the realities of entrepreneurship, the gritty, difficult, and often painful moments that most business leaders avoid talking about. And this is where his advice becomes truly invaluable. Horowitz is uniquely qualified to give this advice because he's been in the trenches himself, having run his own company before moving into venture capital. The core principle that Horowitz emphasizes in his book is the need to embrace the struggle. He acknowledges that starting and running a business is incredibly hard and that it's never smooth sailing. There's no roadmap to success, no step-by-step guide to make everything easy. His message is simple. There is no way around the hard things. You have to face them head-on if you want to succeed. Horowitz's own experiences provide the foundation for this principle. He discusses the difficult decisions he had to make, from laying off employees to dealing with public relations crises to managing personal stress. Through these struggles, he learned that the key to survival in business isn't avoiding hardship. It's about confronting it and making the best decision you can, even when you don't have all the answers. Provide an overview of the author's main idea. The first major principle that Horowitz outlines in The Hard Thing About Hard Things is the idea that leadership is not about finding the right answers, but rather about making tough decisions when there are no easy answers. It's about leading in the face of uncertainty and understanding that the road to success is paved with hard, often lonely choices. In the book, Horowitz explains that when he was running his own company, Opsware, he faced moments where there was no clear direction forward. The company was running out of money, competitors were closing in, and even the core product wasn't yet perfect. At one point, they were on the brink of bankruptcy, and he had to make gut-wrenching decisions with little to no information. There was no obvious right choice, just a series of hard things that needed to be faced. This brings us to the core of his framework, that hard decisions are part of the job. In fact, they are the job. Horowitz argues that entrepreneurship isn't about avoiding failure or trying to control every situation. It's about navigating the unknown and making decisions with limited information. It's about learning from failure and continuing to push forward, even when it feels like there's no clear path ahead. The first key principle, therefore, is the idea of resilience. As Horowitz says, the only thing that prepares you to make tough decisions is making tough decisions. He insists that when you're faced with adversity, you don't shy away from it. You lean in, confront it, and find ways to push through. This is an essential part of business and leadership. Understanding that difficulty is unavoidable, but how you handle it determines whether you succeed or fail. This mindset is what separates successful leaders from those who burn out or give up when the going gets tough. Horowitz explains that many entrepreneurs fail not because they didn't have a good product or a solid plan, but because they lack the resilience to keep going when they hit the hard stuff. They looked for the easy answer or the shortcut, but there are no shortcuts in business. Horowitz's advice is also rooted in the idea that there is no single playbook for success. It's easy to look at other entrepreneurs who seem to have figured it all out and believe that their path is the blueprint for success. However, the reality is that every business is unique, and the struggles each entrepreneur faces are different. This means there is no one-size-fits-all solution to business problems. Instead, it's about learning how to adapt, experiment, and make decisions with the best information you have, even if you don't have a perfect solution. The importance of leadership through uncertainty. Horowitz's principle of leadership through uncertainty speaks directly to the challenges that many entrepreneurs face. One of the hardest things about building a business is the inherent uncertainty. You can't predict the future, and there are always variables you can't control. The best leaders are those who can manage through uncertainty and make decisions even when they don't have all the answers. For example, in his book, Horowitz talks about the moment when his company, Opsware, was nearing collapse. They had a great product, but it wasn't generating enough revenue to keep the company afloat. Investors were losing confidence, and the team was facing morale problems. He had to decide whether to shut it down or double down and keep pushing forward. This was the hardest decision of his life, and there were no guarantees that it would work, but it was the only choice he had if he wanted to avoid failure. The principle here is that you won't always know if you're making the right choice, but what's important is moving forward anyway. Action is the antidote to fear. Horowitz shows that successful leaders are not the ones who make perfect decisions every time. Instead, they are the ones who can make decisions, adjust when necessary, and keep going, no matter how tough it gets. Horowitz also discusses how leaders need to be able to inspire and motivate their teams through uncertain times. It's not enough to be the one who makes the tough decisions. A good leader must also communicate clearly, be transparent, and keep the team aligned with the company's mission and vision. This level of leadership is challenging, especially when things aren't going well, but it's essential for survival. The key to overcoming struggles. Horowitz's first key principle is powerful because it gives you a mental framework to face the inevitable challenges that come with building a business. You don't need to have all the answers, but you do need to embrace the struggle. Business is about solving problems, and often the most rewarding experiences come from facing the most difficult obstacles. This mindset shift is critical for anyone looking to lead a business. When things get tough, the natural instinct might be to seek comfort or avoid hard choices. But if you want to build something lasting, you have to lean into the struggle and commit to making tough decisions, even when you don't know what's going to happen next. Leaders lead by example, not just by making decisions, but by showing their team that it's okay to face challenges head-on. In summary, Horowitz's first core principle teaches that entrepreneurship is about resilience. The hard things will come, but facing them with courage, clarity, and a focus on progress is what sets successful leaders apart. When you embrace the difficulty, you learn to lead through uncertainty and create lasting solutions. This is the foundation for everything else you'll build as you continue on your entrepreneurial journey. Here's Section 3, key principle number 2, the framework in action, approx. 1,200 to 1,500 words, based on The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. Section 3, key principle number 2, the framework in action. Introduce actionable steps or principles. In The Hard Thing About Hard Things, Ben Horowitz makes it clear that running a business is more than just having a great idea. Success isn't just about envisioning the future, it's about taking action and pushing through the inevitable obstacles that come along the way. The second core principle Horowitz emphasizes is the importance of building a culture of execution. It's not enough to have a brilliant product or a vision. You have to turn that idea into something tangible. Horowitz believes that ideas are worthless without execution. In fact, he argues that execution is the real differentiator between businesses that succeed and those that fail. To break it down, Horowitz provides actionable steps that any entrepreneur or business leader can implement. Here's the key. It's about getting things done. No matter how great your vision or strategy is, if you can't execute your plans, none of it matters. Ideas are just dreams until they're acted upon. Key actionable steps for building a culture of execution. 1. Make fast decisions. One of the first things Horowitz advises entrepreneurs is to make decisions quickly, even when you don't have all the information. As an entrepreneur, you don't have the luxury of time to wait for perfect conditions. Waiting for the perfect solution can paralyze you and slow down the entire process. Sometimes it's more important to make a decision and adjust along the way than to let the fear of making the wrong choice hold you back. Horowitz shares an example from his time at Opsware, where in the midst of a major crisis, the company had to decide whether to pivot their business model or continue with the original plan. The decision wasn't easy and there were risks involved, but they chose to act fast and make the best decision they could with the information available. The result was not only the survival of the company, but its eventual sale for $1.6 billion. Actionable tip. If you're facing a tough decision, don't hesitate. Make the best choice you can with the information you have and commit to it. You can always pivot or adjust along the way. 2. Hire the right people. Building a business isn't just about having a great product or a killer marketing strategy. It's about building the right team. Horowitz emphasizes that a great team is critical to execution. Without a team that shares the same vision, values, and commitment, execution will always be lacking. As a leader, your job is to surround yourself with individuals who not only have the technical skills, but also have the passion and grit to make things happen. This is particularly crucial when your company faces difficulties. Your team's ability to execute when things are hard will be the difference between success and failure. Horowitz talks about the importance of hiring people who are mission-driven. When hiring, ask yourself, does this person believe in the company's mission? Are they willing to roll up their sleeves and do whatever it takes to get the job done? It's not just about finding someone with a resume that checks all the boxes. It's about finding people who can execute and move the business forward, even when things get tough. Actionable tip. When hiring, look for candidates who are not only skilled but also passionate about your mission. People who are driven to execute, not just follow orders. 3. Focus on key metrics. Execution means measuring progress. If you don't have clear, measurable goals, you won't be able to track whether or not you're achieving what you set out to do. Horowitz emphasizes that focusing on the right metrics is essential. If you're measuring things that don't really matter, you're wasting time. In his book, he discusses how Opsware's team was able to quickly identify what was working and what wasn't by focusing on key metrics. They didn't get distracted by vanity metrics, those shiny numbers that look good but don't actually drive progress. Instead, they focused on the core metrics that had a direct impact on the company's growth and success. Actionable tip. Identify the key metrics that matter most to your business. Focus on what will drive growth and success, and ignore everything else. 4. Create a feedback loop. Execution doesn't happen in isolation. It requires continuous improvement and feedback. Horowitz stresses the importance of creating a feedback loop within your organization. This allows your team to quickly identify issues, fix them, and improve performance. He talks about how his team regularly held post-mortems after big launches or failures. These weren't about assigning blame. They were about gathering data, identifying what went well, and pinpointing what needed improvement. This feedback loop allowed the company to constantly learn, adapt, and execute better each time. Actionable tip: create an environment of continuous learning and feedback. After every major project or decision, hold a post-mortem meeting to learn from what happened and how you can do better next time. Use real-world examples or hypothetical scenarios. Now let's apply these principles in a real-world setting. Imagine you're the CEO of a tech startup, and your company has just developed a cutting-edge software tool. You've been working on it for months, and now you need to launch it to the market. However, there's one big problem. The market is crowded, and competitors have similar products. The pressure is on to make a successful launch, but there's no guaranteed success. Decision-making. You need to make quick decisions. You could delay the launch to refine the product further, but the market might shift, and you'll lose your first-mover advantage. You choose to launch with a feature set that's good but not perfect. This may seem risky, but the alternative is far riskier: losing the momentum you've already built. Hiring the right people. You know that launching a product is only half the battle. You need a team that can execute. You bring in a skilled marketing manager who understands the tech industry, but also shares your passion for the product. You also hire customer support specialists who are patient, helpful, and willing to go above and beyond to help customers troubleshoot. They understand that every interaction is a chance to build loyalty. Focusing on key metrics. You track the key metrics: customer acquisition, churn rate, and user engagement. These numbers tell you if the product is hitting the mark. You know that tracking downloads alone isn't enough. You focus on user retention and how people are actually using your product, because those are the metrics that will tell you if your product is truly valuable to customers. Creating a feedback loop. After the first few weeks of launch, you gather feedback from your team and customers. You hold a meeting to discuss what went well and what could be improved. You identify a few critical bugs that need fixing, and your team gets to work. You keep your customers in the loop about the improvements you're making, showing them that you're listening and adapting. In this scenario, the actionable steps of making decisions quickly, hiring the right people, focusing on key metrics, and creating a feedback loop all come into play. By following Horowitz's principles, you're not just hoping things will work out. You're actively making them work. In The Hard Thing About Hard Things, Ben Horowitz provides a pragmatic, no-nonsense approach to building a business. His framework isn't about waiting for the perfect conditions. It's about execution. It's about getting the right team in place, focusing on the metrics that matter, and being willing to act quickly, even when the situation is unclear. Most importantly, it's about adapting and learning from everything you do. If you take these principles to heart, you'll be well on your way to not just dreaming about success, but making it a reality. Execution isn't easy, but it's the foundation of every successful business. And as Horowitz says, the hard thing isn't just starting. The hard thing is doing it when it's really hard. Here's section 4. Key principle number 3. Overcoming common obstacles, approx. 1,200 to 1,500 words, based on The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. Section 4. Key principle number 3. Overcoming common obstacles address common misconceptions or fears. Starting and running a business is never as easy as it looks from the outside. The success stories we hear are often polished versions of reality, leaving out the struggles, failures, and tough decisions that made those successes possible. Ben Horowitz addresses these fears and roadblocks head-on in The Hard Thing About Hard Things. He makes it clear. Most of the challenges entrepreneurs face are unavoidable, and it's the way you respond to them that makes the difference between success and failure. Let's address some of the most common fears and misconceptions that hold many people back from taking action or fully embracing the principles of building a successful business. 1. Fear of failure. One of the biggest fears entrepreneurs face is the fear of failure. It's natural to be afraid of failing, especially when you've invested time, money, and energy into something you believe in. The idea of things not working out can feel paralyzing. The fear of losing everything can keep you from taking risks or making bold decisions. But here's the truth. Failure is part of the process. You won't always get it right the first time. In fact, most successful entrepreneurs have failed many times before they found success. Horowitz shares his own experiences with failure and discusses how, through failure, you learn what works and what doesn't. It's not about being perfect. It's about being resilient. Every failure is a lesson, and often your greatest lessons come from your most difficult experiences. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, and even Amazon faced failure at various points in their journey. They didn't stop when things didn't go perfectly. They kept going, adjusted, and found new solutions. Solution to fear of failure. You have to embrace failure as a learning opportunity. The key is to take action, not to avoid failure, but to learn from it. Start where you are, take small steps, and when things don't go as planned, see it as an opportunity to adjust your strategy. Failure is not the end, but part of the process of building a successful business. 2. Fear of uncertainty. Another fear that holds people back is the fear of uncertainty. In entrepreneurship, nothing is guaranteed. The market changes, competitors rise, and customer needs evolve. It's impossible to predict exactly what will happen, and that uncertainty can be terrifying. Horowitz explains that uncertainty is a constant in business. No matter how well you plan or how experienced you are, you can't foresee every challenge. But rather than avoiding the unknown, you have to learn to navigate it. The best entrepreneurs are those who are comfortable with uncertainty and who can act decisively even without having all the facts. Solution to fear of uncertainty. You don't need all the answers, but you do need the courage to make decisions with the information you have. Break down larger decisions into smaller, manageable pieces. Take calculated risks based on the knowledge you do have and adjust as you go. The best decisions often come from action, not from overthinking. 3. Fear of inadequacy. Many entrepreneurs feel a sense of imposter syndrome, where they feel they're not qualified to lead a business or that their success is just a fluke. This feeling of inadequacy can paralyze you into inaction, even when you're fully capable of handling the challenges in front of you. Horowitz touches on this when discussing his early years in the tech industry. He admits that, even as a successful entrepreneur, he often felt like he wasn't qualified to make big decisions or lead his company through tough times. This feeling of inadequacy is something every business leader faces at some point, and the key is not to let it control you. Solution to fear of inadequacy. You don't have to be perfect or have all the answers. Leadership isn't about being flawless. It's about making decisions, learning from them, and growing over time. Trust your instincts and surround yourself with a team that complements your strengths and fills in your gaps. No one can do it all alone. The key is learning how to make the best decisions with what you have. 4. Overwhelmed from the amount of work. The amount of work required to grow a business can feel overwhelming. The pressure to constantly innovate, maintain high productivity, meet deadlines, and deal with unexpected setbacks can quickly burn you out. Many entrepreneurs quit not because they lack the drive, but because they become overwhelmed by the sheer amount of work involved. Solution to overwhelm. One of the best pieces of advice Horowitz gives is to focus on what matters most. It's easy to get lost in the minutiae of running a business, but the most successful entrepreneurs know how to prioritize their time. Delegate tasks that don't require your direct involvement. Hire the right people and set realistic goals. You don't need to do everything yourself. Focus on executing your most important priorities and build a team that helps you handle the rest. Provide solutions and reassurance. Now that we've discussed some of the common fears and roadblocks, let's talk about how to move forward in overcoming them. These obstacles are part of the entrepreneurial journey, but they don't need to stop you from achieving success. 1. Build a resilient mindset. To overcome fear, you need to shift your mindset. Instead of viewing challenges as roadblocks, start seeing them as opportunities to grow. Successful entrepreneurs know that resilience is not about avoiding challenges, but about pushing through them. The key is to keep moving forward even when things aren't going perfectly. Horowitz shares a powerful message. The hard thing isn't just starting the company. It's about leading the company when it's hard. Resilience comes from knowing that difficult times will come, but that's when your leadership and ability to execute will truly be tested. Each struggle you face will make you stronger, smarter, and more prepared for the future. 2. Embrace uncertainty with confidence. Uncertainty isn't something to fear, but something to navigate. When you can't control the future, focus on controlling how you respond to it. As an entrepreneur, your ability to thrive in uncertainty is a huge competitive advantage. The key is to remain adaptable, act quickly, and stay open to learning. Horowitz advises taking calculated risks and acting on your instincts when faced with the unknown. Sometimes the best decision is the one that you feel most confident about, even if you don't have all the details. Move quickly, learn from mistakes, and keep refining your approach. Action is often more valuable than indecision. 3. Stop waiting for perfection. One of the biggest obstacles to success is perfectionism. Many entrepreneurs spend too much time refining and tweaking things, waiting for the perfect moment to launch or make a decision. The reality is, nothing will ever be perfect. Instead of waiting for the perfect conditions, start where you are. Take action and refine as you go. Don't focus on being perfect. Focus on progress. Every step you take brings you closer to your goal, and each failure is an opportunity to improve. The key is to keep iterating and learning. 4. Delegate and build a strong team. You don't have to do everything on your own. One of the best ways to overcome the overwhelm of running a business is to delegate. Surround yourself with talented individuals who can help you execute the vision. Build a team that complements your strengths and helps you cover your weaknesses. Trust your team to make decisions and contribute to the company's growth. Remember, execution is a team effort. It's not about doing everything yourself. It's about leading a group of people who can help you make it happen. Overcoming common fears and misconceptions is essential for making the leap from good to great. These obstacles will never fully disappear, but how you respond to them will define your success. By building resilience, embracing uncertainty, taking action, and surrounding yourself with the right people, you can navigate these challenges and keep moving forward. The real secret to success is not about avoiding difficulties, but about learning to tackle them head-on. Every entrepreneur faces challenges, but the ones who succeed are the ones who push through, adjust, and continue executing, despite the fear and the unknown. So take a deep breath, face those hard things, and keep going. You're not alone on this journey, and the rewards are waiting for those who persevere. Here's Section 5. Key Principle Number 4. Long-term wealth building, approx. 1,200 to 1,500 words, based on The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. Section 5. Key Principle Number 4. Long-term wealth building. Explain the importance of consistency. One of the most common myths about entrepreneurship and wealth building is that there's a secret shortcut, a get-rich-quick scheme that will catapult you to success in a matter of months or even weeks. We hear about the tech moguls who made billions overnight, and it's easy to think that success can come instantly, with a single breakthrough. But the truth is, the real path to wealth and business success requires consistency. Ben Horowitz makes it clear in The Hard Thing About Hard Things that there's no shortcut to success. While it's true that rapid wealth is possible, it's not sustainable without a foundation built on long-term sustainability. You can make money fast, but if you aren't focused on building systems and processes that continue to generate income, even when you're not actively working, you risk losing everything. This idea is at the core of Horowitz's thinking. True wealth isn't created overnight. It's created over time by building scalable systems, creating value, and making consistent, smart decisions. Horowitz talks about the importance of building systems that continue to work for you long after the initial burst of energy is worn off. The process is far from glamorous, but it's what makes wealth sustainable. You can't keep working 100-hour weeks forever. Eventually, you need a business that can run without you. That's where scalability and consistency come in. The fast lane isn't about burning the candle at both ends and hoping to get rich. It's about building businesses that are capable of growing steadily over time, allowing you to build wealth with less day-to-day effort. When you build scalable, automated systems, your income continues to flow, even when you're not actively working. It's about making decisions that will pay off in the long run. Not rushing to get rich in a year, but steadily building the foundation for ongoing growth and success. Actionable advice. Focus on building systems that can scale. Whether it's your business model, your marketing strategy, or your customer support, make sure that everything you build can grow without requiring more of your time. Think about creating processes that allow your business to run independently of you, so you can focus on strategic decisions rather than daily operations. Plan for long-term growth. Take a step back from the immediate pressures of getting your business off the ground and ask yourself, what kind of company do I want to build over the next 5 to 10 years? Make sure your decisions today are building toward that long-term vision. Provide tips for sustainability. Building wealth is one thing, maintaining it is another. It's easy to lose sight of long-term goals when you're focused on short-term wins. Horowitz emphasizes the importance of making decisions that not only benefit you now, but continue to benefit you in the future. Let's look at some of the ways to build and maintain long-term wealth. 1. Reinvest profits. One of the most important strategies for maintaining and growing wealth is reinvesting profits back into your business. This concept is simple. Don't treat the money your business generates as personal income, at least not entirely. Instead, use those profits to fuel the continued growth of your business. This can be done in many ways, expanding your team, improving your product, or even expanding into new markets. Horowitz talks about how Opsware, his previous company, faced tough financial times, but they kept reinvesting their profits into product development and infrastructure. It was a decision that delayed their immediate success, but allowed them to scale exponentially once the product was fully developed. Actionable tip. Make a habit of reinvesting a portion of your profits into the business to fuel growth. This strategy might require patience in the short term, but over time, it creates a business that can grow without needing constant infusions of new capital. 2. Diversify income sources. Another key to sustainability is diversifying your income sources. Horowitz suggests that having multiple streams of income is essential for long-term financial health. This principle applies not only to businesses but also to individual wealth-building strategies. If your business is only relying on one product or service, you risk everything if that one source falters. Diversification spreads risk and can provide stability even in uncertain times.
For example, consider a software company that primarily earns revenue from one core product. If that product becomes obsolete or a competitor releases something better, the company could face significant losses. But if the company has expanded into different verticals or has other sources of revenue, it can weather the storm more effectively. Look for ways to diversify your revenue streams. This could mean offering new products, expanding into different markets, or creating new business models. Find ways to leverage your current success into new opportunities. 3. Continually learn and evolve. One of the most powerful tools for long-term success is continuous learning. The world of business, especially in tech, changes rapidly. What works today may not work tomorrow, and the best business leaders are the ones who understand this and remain committed to learning and adapting. Horowitz stresses that in order to sustain growth, you need to evolve with the market, and this requires a commitment to learning. This doesn't mean you have to master everything yourself. It could mean surrounding yourself with people who are experts in areas you're not familiar with. But the key is to stay engaged with the changes in your industry and continue to innovate. Actionable tip. Set aside time each week to learn something new related to your business or industry. Whether it's reading books, attending conferences, or taking online courses, never stop growing your knowledge. Encourage your team to do the same and foster a culture of continual improvement. 4. Build a resilient company culture. A sustainable business isn't just about financial strategies. It's also about creating a resilient company culture. The culture you build within your company will play a huge role in its long-term success. Horowitz talks about the importance of maintaining a strong culture, especially when things get difficult. The best companies have a culture that helps them persevere through tough times and continue to innovate even when facing obstacles. A resilient culture is one that emphasizes problem-solving, innovation, and commitment to the company's vision. When you build a culture that values these things, your team will be better equipped to navigate challenges and keep pushing toward long-term success. Take out Core 5. Focus on building a strong, resilient culture within your team. This can be done by reinforcing the company's values, fostering collaboration, and ensuring that employees feel they have ownership in the company's success. A strong culture can carry you through difficult periods and provide stability in the long run. 5.5. While it's okay to pivot when necessary, make sure you don't lose sight of the bigger picture in favor of quick wins. Building long-term wealth requires consistency, patience, and the ability to make smart decisions today that will pay off in the future. It's not about immediate gratification, but about laying a strong foundation that will continue to grow even in the face of challenges. By reinvesting profits, diversifying income, continually learning, fostering a resilient culture, and staying focused on your long-term vision, you can create a sustainable business and achieve lasting success. The road to long-term wealth may not be fast, but it's certainly worth it. As Horowitz writes, true success doesn't come from quick wins. It comes from building something that lasts. And if you stay committed, keep improving, and build a solid foundation, the results will follow. 5. Maintain focus on your long-term vision. One of the hardest parts of building long-term wealth is maintaining a focus on your long-term vision, especially when short-term results might be tempting. It's easy to chase the next big thing or get distracted by immediate returns. But to truly build lasting wealth, you need to consistently align your actions with your long-term goals. Horowitz advises that, especially during tough times, it's crucial to revisit your vision and stay focused on what you're building. This means being willing to say no to short-term opportunities that don't align with your long-term goals. Actionable tip: regularly revisit your long-term vision and ensure your day-to-day actions are aligned with it. While it's okay to pivot when necessary, make sure you don't lose sight of the bigger picture in favor of quick wins. Building long-term wealth requires consistency, patience, and the ability to make smart decisions today that will pay off in the future. It's not about immediate gratification, but about laying a strong foundation that will continue to grow even in the face of challenges. By reinvesting profits, diversifying income, continually learning, fostering a resilient culture, and staying focused on your long-term vision, you can create a sustainable business and achieve lasting success. The road to long-term wealth may not be fast, but it's certainly worth it. As Horowitz writes, true success doesn't come from quick wins. It comes from building something that lasts. And if you stay committed, keep improving, and build a solid foundation, the results will follow. Building a business and achieving long-term success isn't about finding shortcuts or relying on luck. It's about taking action, embracing the struggle, and consistently pushing forward. The principles we've discussed today, executing relentlessly, confronting fears, and focusing on long-term sustainability, are the backbone of lasting success. The choice is in your hands. You can wait for things to get easier, or you can take control of your journey now. Every business, every leader faces challenges. But what separates those who succeed from those who don't is their ability to keep moving forward when things are tough. You have the tools to handle whatever comes your way as long as you embrace the hard things and keep executing on your vision. It's time to take that first step. Stop overthinking, stop waiting for perfect conditions, and start building. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Your future is shaped by the actions you take today. Which principle resonates most with you? What action will you take today to start building your business or achieving your goals? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you're going to tackle the hard things. And if you found this video helpful, subscribe for more insights on how to build something great. Don't forget to share this with anyone who needs a push to start their own journey towards success. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more actionable insights to help you navigate the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and leadership. Hit that notification bell so you won't miss the next video, where we'll dive deeper into strategies for long-term growth and success. Your journey to building something truly impactful starts with the choices you make today. Let's make it happen together.